Grip the mic like Indiana, grip the whip, I never slip. Steady like a boulder with compositions on my desktop folder. As I get older and wiser, I realize that the designer of the game did not decide that the objective was fame, and never toyed with the lifelong pursuit of simply being self-employed. So if you see me, then you wouldn't look twice, quite unobtrusive. I prefer to stay elusive. Used to think that maybe I could be a star, but now I know that I was born with the face that was best for doing radio. The hip-hop version of your next door neighbor who wouldn't try to make a name off of another man's labor. Me, I'm on the never-ending search for truth, which manifests itself in brief flashes of brilliance. Adapt to my environment with resilience. I've been ill since the day I discovered I had a sixth sense for hooking up the track. I always had a sixth sense of humor when engaging in speculation and rumor. It's an omen. The masses are just not knowing, showing nothing for this lover of music and mathematics whose attention span is ready for my themes and schematics. They're like screwing the concept, they keep the beats booming, born bleeding like Harry S. Truman. Suspend your disbelief in the human condition or go insane. It's the big game, wildlife fishing or hunting. Sometimes my pockets are empty on the first of the month thing. My mind goes a million miles a minute though. Used to write raps, now it's all a manifesto, a rhythm of releasing many senses of the word. So I surround myself with artists with the love of the absurd. If the rhythm wasn't hitting, we'd excuse the overviews, but it's pumped up like sneakers stitched in sweatshops overseas. And I'll be bugging out over these men who act superior because they lack ovaries. Call misogyny an undefendable view. Not enough attention from mom when you grew. Man, McEnroe should have an FAQ. First answer would be that I don't do what the fake do. I take you on a journey, so let's adjourn to the study. It might be a while till I return. A sojourn beats with the slow burn, which is why it's not money but props. A McEnroe earn. A sojourn beats with the slow burn, which is why it's not money but props. A McEnroe earn. A sojourn beats with the slow burn, which is why it's not money but props. A McEnroe earn. Oh, I like that one, Rod. You keep that one. Rod, let's keep that one. What's up, y'all? This is McEnroe coming at you from beautiful Vancouver, BC, Canada. It's time for Peanuts and Corn Factory Seconds, our new compilation of stuff we just couldn't wait to release, so we just smucked it all together. And we now have this wonderful little compilation, Peanuts and Corn Factory Seconds. Check it out.
The beat used to hang from my neck, red, black, and green, plus an African medallion. Know what I mean? In love with people I've hardly seen, denying that I'm white. Could have been that my rat tail was braided too tight. And when I stepped into the pharmacy to get Jericho juice, the woman whispered, "This is only for the Negroes to use." Unwelcome news shaped me up at third base like MC Search. Surrender flag glowing white like the bark of a birch. It only hurts so much, and the systems get defensive. Haircut costs $10, but it's really much more expensive. Murdering John Smith, they used to listen to Mobb Deep, imposing a mayor with caramel full fronts on their teeth, lip syncing a mad grill, throwing up a gun clap. After a show, this guy tells me he only likes white rap, needs a slap. I'm trying to stop the sickness as it spreads. I remember walking around Brandon in fake dreads, being confronted. This dude should have squashed me like zucchini, leaving filthy tags all over and calling it graffiti. Stealing out, be sure, out of my rap tape hunt. And I'm still in effect, but yo, I ain't gonna front. Boo say, don't say, Pip Skid Yy. Boo say, don't say, Pepper tape Italive. Boo say, don't say, we can not Italive. Boo say, don't say, boo say, don't say.
I wanted to be down. I wanted to be down. I wanted to be down. I wanted to be down.
This limp that I acquired, it was not an injury. Word up was my window to the rap industry. Wrote the Donald D. Fan Club, but nobody answered back. And I forgave the crew whenever last drop. I got the knack, wishing I was black, but never challenged my fears. Ran out and got hoops pierced into both of my ears. Getting called a fag, but his burden ain't that hard to carry. My mom trying to throw up by all means necessary. Stepdad yelling, cut out the African jungle shit. Took a long time to figure out why I didn't fit a Bud Bundy zebra head hot dog bun with inside out overalls on and one strap undone. Reading Malcolm X, listen to X-Clan and nice and smooth, craving black attention like I got something to prove. Look at me, I'm not like all the rest. I kinda sound like Beastie Boys, House of Pain, or Farm Fresh. I won't front, I used to rock LA Raiders gear, but now it's much more clear, the white race traitor is here. Boo say, don't say, Pip Skid Yy. Boo say, don't say,
Yo. What's up? It's John Smith, y'all. Just waiting for the water to boil. Just roll out of bed, starting to list the rap life like I do it. Boil some water, get that wake and bake on, drink tea for a couple hours, and sit around watching a blank screen because we ain't got no cable in my house. But, you know, you're tuned into the Peanuts and Corn Factory second CD, and why don't you just, like, slip back into the lush confines of my velvety rapper voice that I got on when I wake up, and check out this battle cry. Hey, yo, Rod, I got this theory. I think we should record my next album immediately after I wake up every time. Because, man, it just sounds so much cooler, man. Check it out. Yeah.
Every new construct is lewd conduct, a snapshot of John buck naked with nothing on but the satisfied smirk of a crackpot. Ashamed of being so pale and bare, but seeks the stairs for fame. So gaze upon the frame and we'll share the blame for desecrating it. All in the name of creating, get lots of loving and hating from coven to Satanists. Demented patience, reach your revelations with a fist in the air. Hissing Jesus was an anarchist, scratching scabs into my wrist, rapping so glamorous. Channel this depression into something progressive. Now having made a dent in its skeleton keeps me aggressive. No time to be sexually suggestive while I'm making a mess of this life. Semi-consciously aware that fucking up provides me with the dopest shit to write. Hopelessly devoted to open mic and smoking pipe. I make sure both are broken right. Rock a frown like a cowl while delivering my cloaked insight. This is a battle cry. This is a battle cry. A battle to stay alive, to tell my tale of a drug out of life, a petty crime. Straddle the line between heady and divine. A rascal rouse and rabble in the battle to get me mine. This harangue's for those who try to deny me my anger in the form of a certified banger. The hunger pangs are ever present, like wanking in every session. Monkey spanking flunkies, grumpy about banking, cranky about US big biz, hoarding all the Franklins. The thankless privileged, the rankless citizens who rejected the riddling in favor of fidgeting and fiddling, scribbling away anything inhibiting. I'm living in the cut, cause I'm living in a rut, a world of what's up, that sucks, and dude, that shit's fucked. Words are crude, but with luck I'll attach some real meaning, like an attack with steel gleaming, threatening to splat your brain across the ceiling, stealing even the prospect of dreaming. I'm pimping a feeling, primping and preening, my demeaning, wielding words in vain, shielding what remains. My name's my battle cry, and my battle cry's my name. I'm serious about what so many others call a game. The anger, hatred, pain, and shame, it's all the same, it's all the same. This is a battle cry, a battle to stay alive, to tell my tale of a drug out of life, a petty crime. Straddle the line between heady and divine, a rascal rouse and rabble in the battle to get me mine. This is a portrait of the artist as poor white trash, part of the hip-hop massive, alternately impassive and impassioned. Watch the fish out of water thrash, gasp and gulp, and then pass out. We'll document it on vinyl and on pulp. A tangible, culpable basket case displays poor boy sandwich, hamming it up, who relinquished his membership to the so-called master race. A bastard and a hater, a cracker rapper who was never a skater, who knows all too well that if he were to blow up, he'd leave nothing behind but a crater.
Yo, this is Guy from Your Brother in My Backpack, giving a big smelly hug to all my fellow peanuts and corners, anyone that was up in there, all the break breaders, mcenroe, the guy who bakes the bread, the man behind Break Bread. Bake bread!
Pitter-patter of small feet completes the toughest like Peter opposing. I've had enough of this loathing. There's more cheaters hoping to beat their adulthood and getting the note. What I have to show are my Joes, my bike, and a big nose. Like fun at, innocently giving a rose to rose, and spontaneously remembering how to break the chain linking owes me payback. Under most middle-aged thinking, see, I'm too old to play with toys. So maybe you shouldn't have kids if the punishment from a parent's perspective is no television might create a whiz. You should be kicked in the head, don't fret. I'm only wearing pants for kids. I wish from the ceiling I was bearing wings, instead I'm kneeling, positioned horizontally parallel to centering. Go to your room. I have no problem with stomping, viciously walking the aisle of stuffed animals with the fist of electricity. The imagination is there. All I need are a pair of black itch tensing up my neck muscles. It appears I have this back itch, but it's all for the show. must extract half of this. I'm pent up and laughing. I'm serious about constructing a masterpiece replica of the set. The ring, the stage, the mic. Check the light and wet my own head or reinvent. I'd rather make up a wrestler than follow your lead and get further stressed with the workaholic crest uniform.
I used to be smaller back then. Back as a child when I would pass reports I made in my room. With agile techniques I would make. Then with sheets and weights. Then just sit and wait until I find a show like strangers. But I've lost this. What you can call your thinking. I started building the force again though. But I'm just flirting with reclaiming the state of mind. So it hates a mimic. So it laughs at me to say nice try. He isn't close. 21 and building forts. Playing with Legos in hopes of seeing my inhibitions float back away. Though I have a theory when I build a bubble. That's the day I'll make a humble replica septic tank and some hay. And some hay? Ask me what I'm building. So what you building? I'm building clay out of Lego. So I can fill in all the cracks like cement to bricks and make them permanently in the form of what I invent. The day the Germans sent me Smurfs. What happened then? I try to capture in a rhyme. I try to think out loud when I have time, whether you're in a major center or your center is rural. If you want imagination plus respect in this world, then it looks like you gotta not be able. Do you know what the bottom of your coffee table looks like?
You got a hockey label.
Do you know what the bottom of your coffee table looks like?
You got a rock-free cable.
Do you know what the bottom of your coffee table looks like? If you're not sure, you gotta spend more time on your floor.
I wanted to be a priest till I opened up a hustler, popped a woody in my brace. Went to private Catholic schools where I was ruled by the nuns. Old school ladies teaching classes was the farthest thing from fun. They would strap you in a second if your attitude was off. Lunchtime they sold hot dogs and some bullshit chicken broth. Ate in the basement of a church, Our Lady of Victor to be exact. Bologna sandwiches with mustard and a grapefruit grease and sack. How do you act? A mix of kids, a mix of cultures, unity. The common worship of above, this thing called Christianity. Went through sacraments with friends, didn't ever question church. My parents paid the extra price and that overtime worked for my education first and religion once a day. Taught the capitalized G-O-D and at bedtime you better pray. So days of religion gave me dual citizen. His church ain't right. So days of religion gave me dual citizen. His church ain't right. After schooling things were different, started to have my own opinion. The funny thing had happened to all my friends like this was always simmering. The years of Catholic school and misinterpreting what's so vital. An altar boy, a strict Catholic, and I never read the Bible. Hated the fact that regulation ruled the churches on people. The people paid and gave and gave and gave like shingles on a steeple. Took a break for years, got lost a bit, hope to try to make the trip. Got married, got kids, want a fresh new start direction for my gifts. Called the priest one weekend early after Jada was born. Looking to baptize my daughter in traditionalist form to bring my family to church, hoping to be closer to God. Father didn't recognize my last name, his tone of voice was kind of odd. After checking the book, the so-called book of pure holy members, located my parents on paper, said there's no time for pretenders. Must come to mass for 6 months, prove my dedication. I burst off the phone in anger, told him screw his regulations. Like they were rosaries. Tell me who's supposed to be the Pope, the Bishop, the Cardinal, or classmate Sally Bonley. Fuck the Vatican, the hidden rules in that old-fashioned system. It's about time these old faggots get married and really start to listen. I'm sick of hearing stories about accused, but they definitely acquitted priests. I wanna bring my family to church, and you stick me with the beast. I went from baptized child to hyper kid to adultly kind of Bob. By the beauty on my kids now, your influence is mild. Rearrange the church culture modernized, cause you're eating up your own following. There's only so much bullshit that humans now are swallowing. Let the older priest retire, flip them out some RSPs. My daughter thankfully got Christian by a priest that understands me and the younger generation. That's flamboyant for the truth. I live my sins for me and God, and not this dark, closed off booth. Give me 5 Hail Marys, like this number game will count. How about all the good things I did? Count that amount, count that amount.
Should be finishing instead of being banished to the back shelf and wallowing in limbo as my edge begins to dull. My mind grows simple. I used to keep it nimble, reading multiple novels, but now my mental stimulation comes from movie stars and models in a pre-packaged plastic, easy to digest. My reading is digressed to the grade 3 level, and my favorite TV channels are headline news and headline sports. The scores are important, no time for views, cause what's right is difficult to choose. So I smile at the water cooler and ignore the issues. 168 hours in a week, and a third of those are spent on sleep. We're now down to 112, with 40 spent in the suit, 5 more for my lunch break, and 10 for the commute. That's 55 on work, and 57 left, 10 watching TV, and 10 surfing the net. At least 10 with my girlfriend to keep things fresh, and that's less than 27 hours left. I might go and see a movie or hang out with some friends, and now my free time is whittled down to 10 hours a week to write rhymes, make beats, go digging, run a label, man, it's no small feat. So ask me if I'm packing it in, and I respond with a grin. It's all fun, but I'm lacking in energy. Ask me if I'm packing it in, and I respond with a grin. It's all fun, but I'm lacking in energy. Ask me if I'm packing it in, and I respond with a grin. It's all fun, but I'm lacking in energy. Ask me if I'm packing it in, and I respond with a grin. It's all fun, but I'm lacking in energy.
top of it all, the doctor tells me that I'm losing my mind. Well, if I am, I don't miss it now.
I must say MC's got a lot of spunk to get up on stage and pop so much junk. But yo, as far as I'm concerned, well, we're still cool. Just to follow some pretty strict guidelines and rules. Some of these tools we use to get our message across. Taking too big a cut and then the feeling gets lost. I ain't trying to start a war, ain't trying to be an arse. Just trying to keep hip-hop from falling apart. Say whatever I say to your face and that's that. No need for conversations in behind your back. Cause yo, we put you on, took you in as a boy, making Joe pay to play and you should kill that noise.
Excuse me, but I know when we talk that you lie to me. You're security, but even more nervous than I should be. You're a child having their first kiss behind a sturdy bleacher and you stink playing ink pink with a dirty preacher. Quit fucking watching or I'll rip your smile to shits. Confront you with your dogma's nothing but childish myths. Like bubblegum is made from shit and nose crud. I heard that your bum and your nose are really close, bud. You're identified by a name tag and what your buckle can hold. My only identification's written across my knuckles in gold. I lie but it's controlled. I'm so hip-hop, I'm 22 years old. On record, I'm yelling yippee-yi and that pippy guy is screaming until his vocals go dry. We rhyme choruses, I figure they were probably quotes. When I rhyme, MCs write me apology notes all the time, and it's the B and the Balo. More of a mask than a letter because they're covering their asses together. But I know better. I write return to sender, walk away, rhyming grade 7 lyrics I remember.
I played for a t-shirt at Penn City Holler. That's so punk rock, I should be wearing a dog collar.
When I start hosting Rap City, you're gonna pay. I'm so hip-hop, I freestyle my resume.
There's nothing like Carton Avenue on a sunny day. I'm so hip-hop, I freestyle my resume.
There's a hip-hop birthday party, wanna make an appearance? I'm so hip-hop, I know Chip Foo's lyrics.
Excuse me while I take off your ball cap with the Canada flag and replace it with a plastic bag. I'm such a drag, but that jacket that you wear so proudly that says staff is the biggest joke since the last time I laughed. You're confused from striking stars, some of it on purpose. Professional breakdance lessons barely scratch the surface. Out nervous, trying to freestyle over bongo slapping skins while I'm seasoning this rap like your grandma's flower tins. They scream for old school, as a DJ for Biggie Small. Songs good, but only as age as an 8-year-old's goals. And if you think I'm here trying to diss B.I.G., then you weren't really listening and don't know me. Maybe this little rap thingy will help pay your student loan. This shit should be free, but the elite wouldn't be alone. I take my cell phone off into the penalty box, calling up the refs. Star 6'9", sly as a fox, twisted like a dreadlock on you know whose head. It take all of our hands to count the times that I was head. How this carved out puppet's head works is beyond me. Some of it ain't showing face like main source with Mikey D. Word to Sister D, we bump it off for an extent of it. I always have a pen, but don't share my writing tips. And at the last show, y'all stop rapping and jump a car. We're so hip-hop, we watch hockey at the bar. Far from paid, still giving it to homeless, I know the fear. It's like John Smith offering to buy me a beer. This is our year, break bread 2001. Cause there's a little something on the CD for everyone.
There's a hip-hop birthday party, wanna make an appearance? I'm so hip-hop, I know Chip Foo's lyrics.
Your patois is worse than the Braemar wall. I'm so hip-hop, I met my girlfriend at the mall.
The only button that works on my Walkman is play. I'm so hip-hop, I freestyle my resume.
I sold Master D's phone number on eBay. I'm so hip-hop, I freestyle my resume.
There's 10 remixes of this track and they're all nice. I'm so hip-hop, I use the same lyrics twice.
I got carpal tunnel from counting all these 5s and 10s. I'm so hip-hop, I got 400 close friends.
When I start hosting Rap City, you're gonna pay. I'm so hip-hop, I freestyle my resume. When I start hosting Rap City, you're gonna pay.
Yo, what's up, Roddy? I be Gruf the Druid, taking it from now to antiquity, yo. And we be dropping that illish, fatter than lard, rocking it like meteors through the stars, yo. Peace.
He brought me up the same way, to reverence the music and the drama and the rituals of the old gods, to love nature and to fear it, and to rely on it and to appease it where necessary. He brought you up to be a pagan. A heathen, conceivably, but not, I hope, an unenlightened one.
Come as no surprise if in a former life I mobilized an order of the Druids in a society secluded, well suited for ritual, grasping my golden sickle, reaching out between heaven and earth, holding the mistletoe, the elusive healer, shamanistic veteran, true and steerer of fate, dreaded by the state but included by the monarchy, who sought to contain the metaphysical magic in my augury that strayed beyond the boundaries associated with flight, divination highly embraced by those proposing inner sight, incarnated to stave off spiritual starvation, seer of truth, something the law was never meaning to do. As I just watch so many suffer abuse, I'm cutting loose from the common impressions as my conscious expression helps me conquer depression, commonly associated with those who go through change, accepted by the different but rejected cause I'm strange, respected cause I can't be tamed, even when lamed or handicapped. Don't try to hand me that one true religion shit, cause I don't buy that manuscript of the Vatican and any other missionary trying to command or act accordingly to anything but the natural laws. I'm ignoring, see, that story got too many flaws, too complicated, I prefer simplicity, the universal rhythm in life, synchronicity. Let me be like the oak tree, witnessing humanity prolifically populating land and sea. In over 1,500 years I'll tell you what life has shown me, and why this bard shows great respect, patience to observe like a bird higher than a lammergeier off words and wisdom. And sometimes I gotta follow closely as knowledge whispers in the back of my mind from past tribal societies who commune with the sun and the moon and listen to the solar system as it hummed them a tune on survival, existence, and respect for life. So it's the way of the Druid embraced by my day and night.
Good golly, this is the Gumshoe strut of your brother in my backpack. Pulling out a big, soggy loaf of once frozen bread. Break it. Word.
Come on, Mary, I'm gonna do our
worker. Her boss is like a curtain to the living room. Not many can see in closed eyes and picture what's in store, the reflection of the 20th floor behind her back and the staff is tight mouth because they fear the consequence of the power cord. She has a storage place for documents and information a mile long. Since orientation 30 years ago and not running strong. We agree somewhat, I'm like they need to get the fuck off the throne and she reacts. This is 30 years thrown out of the window, imagine that picture. Believing all along she was a fixture, devoted to the ultimate feeling of litter. She's worked for the same fuck since my birth and I can see why she'd be bitter. I get along and work and steer her dearly for a pinner and finger. All this stresses the insister, she's a sister to a mother of a brotherless Billy Bob turned Earl critter. Premonition that this was going to happen, broke out into a cold sweat in her hands, started clasping, clenching the name tag, unattentive to the dirty pinpoint and a ring. It's obvious she's fed up with a passion and wants to blow this joint, abolish the history of corporation instead of cashing in. 30 years later arrives the log, either half is clogged with cause an outburst of emotion, a soggy handkerchief for the mother of devotion. Tried 25 years plus her fucking motivation, pushing as deep as the basement floor. It's frustration and so much more unexplainable than anything I've ever heard before. Firsthand, she looks to be shit on. Another expendable slave to be spit on, replaceable like Eeyore's tail. She's just a pin on. The question is, how many people are in on? The president's to blame. I think the president's to blame. They stick their fat hand in the hat full of veterans' names. Cross somebody out like energy item ink stain. It's impersonal. The pain is not felt by the person who dealt and owns the deck. Plays the race card more than you'd expect. Drives a race car, plans to build a house on his deck. Claims to forget the 30-year bracelet, sign a severance check. We're all out of respect if you got a family. Sorry, but it's in the company's best interest to just part ways like this was a partnership. They count on one side of respect like an abusive relationship can get. When everybody wants to be dominant and be the one doing the pissing on top of all of the shit, yet anonymous and discreet. It's not Wall Street, but still competitive like a junior high school track meet where the powers just can't and won't be beat. The rest gets stamped, terminated by the cleat. The sheet hits the shredder and it's all for the better. And it's all for the cheddar. At the point of a nervous breakdown, she may sound. At the point of a nervous breakdown, he may sound. At the point of a nervous breakdown, you may sound. At the point of a nervous breakdown, we may sound.
I'm almost 22 rings thick. I spit like a camel, and if I ain't sick, then I probably feel like shit. I smoke roaches covered in lint. I should smoke out the window with my palm, then play some loud music that confuses my mom as much as me when I'm introduced as John. I'm a needle on a gauge, which jumps between loose and withdrawn. Gain the wherewithal to infuse the calm. Still, I'm an arm length away from paroxysm, more often than I'd like to admit. And I can't decide whether I'm weak or strong for the way I do or do not deal with it. It's silent curses or violent outbursts, the staring contest between headlights and deer. Reaction rehearsed or whatever came first. Was the punch pulled or was it frozen by fear?
Basically, we're concerned with measurement and manipulation of human behavior at all levels. Things like peer group adaptability and anxiety catharsis through hypnotic suggestion.
You know the way you get to the point without really ever getting to the point.
Check it out. Coming up next, we got Josh Martinez. A song called Rainy Days. Ooh.
Get up. I woke up this morning and realized there is no job I'd ever want to spend my whole life doing, because I don't have the patience. I've been thinking as I age, no gray, only 23 years old, but already I've become someone I once told myself I would never be. Not to be in me is such a bad thing, it just sucks to go from all shucks to show enough and then find out that rhyming as I know it isn't what it's all about. I can't finish anything I start, I break hearts and grow flowers on the windowsill. Still I feel like there's nothing lifelike in these hands. Now I have to lie, crying foul. Someone breathe too loud, I get another try. Can I buy a vowel? Oh my God, I'm sick of sob stories. Everybody envies any life but their own. Nobody thinks to stop hoping, get open, spend some time alone. I gotta read a book, I need to wear more sweaters. I'm glad I cut my hair, I'm glad I stopped wearing underwear. I'm better off each day, less sun shines through my curtain. I'm certain it shouldn't hurt to get up, but it does. I love the buzz I get forgetting every day I've tasted. I remember kissing, but can't remember how kissing tasted. I faced my fears with beers and got wasted. So I suckled on the 40 bottle, my brain throttled and buckled under the weight of my slumber state. I'm way too involved to appreciate. I'm too evolved to deviate. All alone in my room, the booze I reek of. I'm asleep at the wheel with no windshield to speak of. And it's just another rainy day. It's just another rainy day. It's just another rainy day. Can't see the rainbow, there's too much gray. Gotta wash this sad face. It's just another rainy day. Just another rainy day. It's just another rainy day. Can't see the rainbow, there's too much gray. Gotta wash this sad face. It's just another rainy day. Just another. On a cold rainy Monday in a dark part of town, I use my body as a host for those just floating around. I heard the chant of the cicadas and was haunted by the cadence of the state of sound verbatim. I was vaporized like skies full of napalm, calm, raining down like an A-bomb. And here I am just trying to stay strong. In the honey hopping, flower pot to pot, I pan block to block, and all I see is spots to shop and lots of cheap spots to sleep in, flower pots and coffee grinds, plenty mugs and empty minds. I jitterbug, but could have been a bug after a bit of mug of all black coffee. Softly I walk into the next room and think soon it will be me standing there. Awfully scared to commit, but shit I don't wanna lose. I have to choose between using my music and being used to suit dudes. And now I'm feeling I can't do shit. I struggle to remain sober, rain jump over mud puddles. I'm passively subtle, act all shy and can't raise my voice. Though I made my choice, I so surprised at how the solemn flower took the stealth to go for self. Soured in my dour smile, check my style with sword shoes. Decided I would stay a while. I parked my car but made to leave. Wanted to say but I wore my sleeve. Wanted to say but couldn't breathe. Read the signs, read it, find reasoning. Even though I can't control my own breathing. Looking out my window, clouds settle low and misty. Watching tracks of tears rolling down my cheek. Rather sun to lift me.
Yo, McEnroe, this is your friend Pip Skid. I'm calling because we're in a crisis over here. It seems that the government, they took away all the Medicare, and they fired all the doctors. I want to know if you can Purelate or courier me your stethoscope, or if I can come over for a checkup. Come on, man. Help me out. Oh, God.
Why would a plant give a shit about Mozart? Even if it did, why should that impress us? They can eat light. Isn't that enough?
No need to change your plans. The only question is what to do with this time on our heads. I keep a pet name for herbicide. Cancer, dirty dances in my soft spots. Sweet on my side. Come on, I seen you wearing those clothes. You can't front. We got them sectioned off and rolled. Insect protected tomato. Well, that's why they're called bugs. Fish gene like ecstasy. Tune and drop out. Get off the drugs. It ain't about the looks. It's left up to your mom and how well she cooks. Run down and out scene with no self-worth. The how-to authority. I'm suicide from planet Earth. Why do I keep getting this rash? Strengthen North America's backbone with a milk mustache. Great package, it looks fantastic. Been a long trip, I'd like to sit and rest a while in this couch made of plastic. In a murky puddle of shit diluted with deception, with the removal of my intercourse and absent from my conception. Mexican jumpy beans take bird baths in human feces. Last decomposing leaves make a nest for the one world species. Treaties that were signed with the next, the imprint of a paw. Couples have had sex and left initials in a tree with a claw. I saw the brightest light on the most unsuspecting night. Spectators gathered around the gene pool to watch the fight. Bets were placing someone, but in the wrong one at what cost? Minimizing nature to a theory, but the mystery isn't lost. Down grocery store aisles it's common to have hallucinations. Brush it off and embrace your fake gods and false creations. Biotech, a wire runs through my neck, sending pulses to my brain, calming down the nervous wreck. Sending a petri dish to the laboratory. Lookalikes play Russian roulette in all glowing scientific glory. What a story. Still birds crowd me in a lineup while I'm waiting to get my food. Isolated soy protein, cuts in front, starts acting rude. Waiting outside aggressively, our local farmers holding hose. Pitchforks and shotguns, taking aim at GMOs. Brown paper bags and CEOs. My shopping cart is half shield, half prison on wheels, and we'll get stuck out in this field. Advertisements push me around as I push back and scream. Then the Kool-Aid jug dressed in a rap theme, talking about it revolves around the cream. Bust through the wall, and I realize this ain't no dream. Enough dogma, we need to learn living will sustain. Tetra packs, organic pears from Chile, coffee, cellophane. Bananas, fresh greens in the winter, and we complain. Blaming on the labor force, it must be far too humane. This is for those farmers who have wrenched their backs in vain. Had to deal with too much or not enough rain, and forced to sell their grain in a market that's insane. Or being sued for keeping seeds, respect due. Thanks for doing what you do and maintain.
Wow. God is like, I was doing when I planted a bunch of trees and I thought they were going to be one way, and then they turned out to be not the way I wanted them, and I chopped them all down.
Who do you think you are, God?
Yeah, right.
Citizen, hoping my manager never says to herself that it's time to get rid of them, even when it's apparent that the company's inherently evil. I train myself to get along with these people I got nothing in common with. Watch the clock ticking, and knowing the job market is offering slim pickings, so I get in where I fit in, sitting in a chair ergonomically designed to increase productivity, to increase synergy. I have no energy to interpretate our leaders when they speak to us corporately, cause they only care about the price of the share in relation to the NASDAQ index. Balances and checks and dividends, it never ends until retirement at the tender age of 65. I'm 26 now, 39 years of barely being alive. Now's the time to be investing in an RRSP. Money on my mind, so don't mind if I'm testy. I got a pin for loyalty, cause I never whined about not getting paid for overtime. Call me a pushover, but when layoffs loom, I'll be the last in line to get the pink slip of doom. And I'll never let the director pass by without passing a compliment about his hair or his tie. See, I'm the kind to take the time to make sure my aspirations are obtained. And I got this corporate ladder to climb in my mind. Body and spirit are slowly trained to play the good corporate citizen. I'm going insane, but getting paid bi-weekly helps to ease the pain, so I smile weekly. I have my pride, swallow it. Been shown the path to success, and so I follow it. Somebody say multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. Multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. Somebody say multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. Now throw your hands in the sky and wave them from side to side. Now clean out your desk by the end of the day and join the unemployment line.
What do you think of that one? Was that one okay? That was yours truly. And a little bit of something about working. And a funny thing that happened a little while after that was dropped. I actually did lose my job and got laid off. And so now we'll see what happens with the rapper / engineer. Stay tuned for the further adventures of me in the working world. Coming up next, more good stuff on Peanuts and Corn Factory Seconds.
Sick like beef or pork or chicken wings. Sitting at the brink of control is the missing link. My pen spits the ink. Sit like I exist to think. The kitchen sink water looks fresh as lakes become extinct. My shit turns pink from ice cold drink with fruit flavoring. I'm savoring the sweet stink, misbehaving as I wink. Bye bye with childlike eyes to primates called I who gyrate on TV screens. Japanimation more interesting, more vivid scenes. My finishing touch glides on like speed stick to keep my secret more suitable. Now you parole the deepness of my cubicle. Controlled habitat, so beautiful with musical background. Pictures of landscapes that can't relate to sounds I make, but can't relate like ancient scriptures. Out of date like out of state. A time called BC or AD. Amalgamate, the history seems shady. With mystery, in between midwifery, I'm trading money in cold hands. With bright lights on my baby, in the old man's hands. Now sold to destination, no man's land. What to expect, I'm too upset to make a plan. Sell portions of my epidermis in epidemic. My skin could make a nice wallet. Call it my incentive, presenting this synthesis for Genesis revised. Splitting the card deck on Star Trek's final Enterprise. When the nighttime skies won't hide the stars' weeping eyes. So far from mine, searching so high, cause it's hard creeping by to even try. Wish I could fly, punching the sky with these fists. Begin to fall because I just can't come in contact with nothing. No No use to wrestle with more words. Watching myself in my sleep. How do I keep moving forwards? March, march, through dark light I hike. Bite in my tail, I leave a trail like a snail in the night. Feeling I failed to take flight. Makes sense to the living. With a spirit so twisted and a mind that's unforgiving. So I failed to take flight. Makes sense to the living. With a spirit so twisted and a mind unforgiving.
Cap in my ass or what? And every time she moves, there's someone staring at her butt. Cut. I was awful, come on, who taught you how to act? This is hip-hop at its finest, and I am slow to react. But I bet babies that your choreographer wasn't Rosie Perez. In the winter wearing shorts as you party in res. I remember the intensity of do the right thing. Opening scene hot, like there's a fire on the wing. Now up on her toes in a ballet routine to Biggie. Hip-hop reading cards hard like Garfield or Ziggy. Is he really on a seaweed diet? Cause every time I see a Tupac we tie, I wanna buy it. Go Sarah, go Sarah. Go, go, go Sarah, go Sarah, go Sarah, go, 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 go. Hollywood flipped the script from a wanna gangster bitch to a wanna spoiled white girl whose dead mom was rich. But when the inheritance hits and the ghetto chains bust free, time to give up in black is a state of mind like YBT. No more half-thugged out doctor and his fancy moves. Fredro Star at your fondue parties to show and prove she's in the groove. You go, girl. Take two and pass. Got the street attitude from a hip-hop dance class, and you could say steal. Hey yo, what's the big deal? New clothing every day. That's cold, keeping it real. Appropriation runs deep in her blood, quit the condition. Her awkward dad is a broke jazz musician. Me, I'm wishing that this thing would hurry up and eat his tail. A lot of damage has begun. You can follow the trail of these dicks that use rap to separate us from our cash. Same pieces of shit that said hip-hop wouldn't last. Go Sarah, go Sarah, go, go, go Sarah, go Sarah, go Sarah, go, go, go Sarah. Come on, do that ish, do that ish, do it, do that ish, do that ish, do it, do that ish, do that ish, do it, do that ish, do that ish, do it.
Yo, this is DJ Gorski, and I dress most viciously. I have to give much respect to all the people on this CD or tape, and I'm out like a trout, a very crump trout.
Cops wanna frisk it. Even cops wanna frisk it.
I got pulled over by a cop coming back from Max with a pop, but he didn't even ask when I stopped where I was from. But the passenger, he asked for submission, but I couldn't blame the cop, he was just fitting his description. I guess police have got persuasion powers and permission to use their judgment if they're off in half an hour. They see colors and they got quotas, quote unquote, for quick force if you think routine stops cannot be contact sports. Get food for free, any place they go and make rounds at the elementary. Their gun is glowing, handed a vest, handed a badge, handed more free than me, the average white kid ever had. And that's a lot, confrontation. Confronted with the catalyst for 51% of the prison population. For once I've handed nothing, but the passenger could not avoid to hear, you're not from around here, are you, boy? We were 16 at the time. Though they claimed we seemed older, my straw and my drink of cream soda, I got off. I guess it's easier than admission, but I couldn't blame the cop, he was just fitting his description.
I'm poor with 3 O's, and so these fucking pigs dump on me. Roll up on me with their weaponry, toying with me and digging for discrepancy, just like some brainwashed teacher testing me. No sensationalizing, they're in step with the Nazis. I once told one that he got mad upset with me, ignoring all they downpress who desperately do dirt for dollars and knew they were fucked once they met with me. And that public defender who might not have built these shits, but would rather have you enter a plea of guilty than send you off instead of dealing with some venture on his way to becoming a senator. I got more respect for the janitor who gets shit on than the occupants of these high exalted positions. Some self-righteous Christian who's got his gavel working like a piston, dismissing this one, then onto that one on a mission, and got where he's at cause of that time-honored tradition of nepotism. And that's why the shitsome gets met with more than skepticism. I'm marching towards cataclysm with a backpack of books and a half full of ism. Now I ain't from Britain, but I can't seem to stop mumbling about a bloody baptism in which the poor and pigmented don't get beaten to submission.
I try to keep some optimism trapped behind these bars, even though options are limited and large. By far, the consequences are hard enough to shatter the force field, engage to protect the emotions I conceal inside, so the fear of the tide is much stronger. A fish, the honor extended to me on the first night, which is longer than any battle imaginable. Oh, Father, I ask for sanity over any commodity and ownership brought to me and forced past my limit, despite my allergies. But he's an allergic reaction to society, so fry me and contain me in the armpit of the West Wing, where the light continues darkening like it was a hard thing for them to understand me as a free man in the hole. I can't even see, man, all the more difficult. I'm in the remand where I'm treated like sand and wait up my time not by the hand. It may take life for another chance to stand.
It's the anger that runs straight through the veins like lava and pain. Steel razor blades can't release a fury of rage. Turn the page, the sun showers my universe with stereotypes. The media hype has made me ashamed to proclaim that the way things are is completely insane. Never directly affected, but indirectly infected with fear. Shh, don't let them hear. The bruises of brothers left on my soul. So many stories will never be told. Even if we spoke, be taken for a joke. I heard it too many times. The shit's in all of their rhymes. I write this naked, fractured like David. My feelings amazed, refuse to be a slave. Using the sentiments, the sense of cops watching, chasing the hate. Scorching like arson, still see Way Lawson. Seen Amadou Diallo, Cincinnati's melody. The struggle is distant, yet it's so close. Why would I choose to be comatose? Cause it's unsettling, overwhelming, and condemning. This profiling. Stop questioning my paranoia. Is it paranoia? Questioning, is it paranoia? Is it paranoia? Is it paranoia?
From the pigs with the phone book punches and truncheons to the pigs with the gavels and ropes attending luncheons. Crunching another warrior into your dungeons. Some peoples are hungry and we gotta eat something. From the pigs with the phone book punches and truncheons to the pigs with the gavels and ropes attending luncheons.
Crunching another non-violent into your dungeon.
Some peoples are hungry and we gotta eat something. From the pigs with the phone book punches and truncheons to the pigs with the gavels and ropes attending luncheons. Crunching another single mob into your dungeon. My people are hungry and we gotta eat something. From the pigs with the phone book punches and truncheons to the pigs with the gavels and ropes attending luncheons.
Crunching another native youth into your dungeon.
My people are hungry and we gotta eat something.
Yo, coming up next, we got my man Pip Skid. This song is called Raggedy Ann, and if you have the album Friends Forever, there's a slight difference in this song in the album version, so listen closely. I'll give you a hint. I messed up with the original mix, and I'm making up for it now. Check it out.
I believe that when a man attacks a woman, beats her, and rapes her, I believe he has the right to beat his fucking brain in.
Just as soon as as these phallic symbols sprout, they'll get cut out, but they'll be back in greater numbers, even throughout a drought, laying limp in death with the smell of sperm in the air. Raggedy Ann has all the fun, 9 out of 10, medium rare, the kind of scare. It'll hit home all the horror stories you've heard. Every word tears away courage like a scavenger bird. He tried to steal sex, but had to settle for her independence. Never again function on full, it's the victim who serves a sentence. And tenants of two, and a ritual to honor his sex's past. Using night she went alone to add pieces onto his mask. She never asked to be raped or attacked, and no woman ever had. And if his identity became public, I would douse his home in gas. Asshole huddled up frozen in the garage, plans attack. With the car running, she didn't hear him sneak up behind her back and wrapped around a rope, breathing heavy and well equipped. But before he could get a tight grip, she used her free hand to rip his mask from off his head. Into the winter night he fled. Whether your uncle, your neighbor, you, your friend, or better off dead. Now she losing due defenses, emotional barbed wire fences, trying to keep her back covered at all times and all expenses not paid. Out to get laid, there are rapists all around. Boyfriends to introverts, mainstream to underground. So when the sound of the cops come down the block, ready to intervene, we must ask, can we police ourselves without them on the scene? Clean this misogynist mess, it keeps women walking in fear, dreading each dark corner, expecting a statistic to appear. I hear the angry cack of the weed whacker, slicing dicks with ease, rotting in the grass, and the stink of cum hangs in the breeze. Following in the testosterone trail from where he ran, building up his homemade mask, made to look like Raggedy Ann. And as a man, I'd like to reach other men, become aware, but end up alienating myself in plain solitaire. She sat up in that chair all night holding a kitchen knife, been called a bitch, mother, wife, and now forced into a new life of always looking over her shoulder, suspecting men as opposition. Culture that celebrates sexism as rich tradition. I remember when she got home that night, all confused and shook. Single mother trying not to spread fear, but I could tell by how she looked, and I couldn't even give her a hug in my dysfunctional state. Just left her crying with the lights on because I couldn't relate. Hey, yo, we're sick, and we need to teach our children sex education. Otherwise they're gonna learn it from the churches and porno movies. Instead of making love or sharing sex, it's the endless pursuit of coming inside of inanimate objects. And it don't stop, and it don't quit. And it don't stop, and it just don't quit.